Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today it's time for episode 8 in our Sierra Nevada series. Yeah, this beer is number 8 in the series and it is the one I've been most looking forward to. It's called Wanderland and it is a Nectarine Ale. I'm not sure what kind of ale, whether it's going to be pale, dark or something else entirely, but for some reason out of everything they had on offer when I bought this pack, this was the one that stood out as just the most appealing to me personally. I don't know why, because there's actually not a lot of info out there about it other than it is nectarine based. Now, what I'm hoping this is a beer that has a bit of nectarine hints and a bit of sweetness rather than just a juicy thing, but we'll see. Before we crack into it, here is a look at the bottle. Wanderland is a great name. I'm not sure where it came from, but hopefully we'll find out when we have a read on it in a bit. Firstly, let's get this open. It's pretty pale. Quite a lot of carbonation. Yeah, I can smell the tangerine from here. Not quite what I was expecting. It's got pretty good clarity. It's only a touch hazy. Right, let's get some aromas. Oh, it does smell good though. It's nectarine forward, as you would imagine. Super sweet orange. You could argue for some peach, but I mean peach and nectarine, when we're talking about infused in something like this, they're not a million miles apart. Got a little bit of a grassy note right at the back, but it's super subtle. It smells like it's going to be quite velvety, which is, I know, is a strange thing to probably say, but I mean visually it looks like it's going to be quite thin. However, the head now has subsided and it's left with quite a closed bubble, thin head, but I don't know, something about it makes me think this is going to be pretty silky smooth. So let's get into it. Cheers. Wow, I was not wrong. I had just an inkling about this beer that I was going to love it, and I think I was right. So obviously it's full of nectarine flavour. It's got nice carbonation, it's super refreshing, it has got a silky finish as I suspected, and it's also got a nice big bit of malt biscuitiness right at the back, which really for me is just, I mean, an idyllic pale ale taste profile. Let's go top to bottom. There's the absolute tiniest bit of citrus bitterness across the front of the tongue. It's almost non-existent, and then all you really get is mouthfeel. It's both heavily carbonated and silky smooth, which aren't all that common a kind of duo, so it's just a really nice experience in that middle phase. And then as it starts to unfold, you just get very much the impression that it is still genuinely beer. There's a bit of the hops coming through, but it's super dialed down. It's like just reminiscent of beer and just a big splash of that nectarine flavour. And then after that goes a little bit bitter, only tiny though, quite drying, not super, just a touch, and then you're left with a nice biscuity malt taste, which with that lingering nectarine just brings a bit of kind of a fruit cheesecake vibe with it. So that's really spot on. Let's take a look at the bottle. Sierra Nevada Wanderland Nectarine Ale, Sierra Nevada Brewing Co., Chico, California, Mills River, North Carolina, 12 fluid ounces, 7.5%. That is not obvious that that's 7.5%. That is dangerous. That doesn't taste boozy at all. Set out and see where the adventure leads. Roam until your paradise appears. Like this juicy golden sunset of a brew, take it all in with an aroma of just picked fruit, bold hop flavour and the bright burst of nectarine. Enjoy the ride. I mean, maybe the hops used are nectarine flavoured, give that, which is why it's not super obvious, but I don't consider this to be particularly hoppy. No, not really. A little bit of grassy note in there that's giving away that obviously there are some of those American hops in there, but nothing severe. And there's nothing else on there other than the general health warnings. So I'm going to take a quick look on their website and see if we can find out why it's called Wanderland. Okay, so this has only been available since January this year. We're currently in April, so really not that long at all. So the malts used are 2-row pale, pilsner and wheat, which I think wise. That wheat's obviously giving it such a nice body and mouth feel, and the pilsner is adding to the kind of super refreshing, slight biscuitiness of it all. Hops are Crystal, Mosaic and Azaka. You know, I nearly said, and then after yesterday's episode, I started to question myself on all things hop related, and I nearly said it's got a bit of the dankness from the Dankful IPA I reviewed yesterday, and that's from Mosaic hops, and yeah, sure enough it has got Mosaic in it, so I wasn't wrong this time, and daren't say it. Every time I bet against myself I shouldn't have, and every time I go for it ends up being wrong, so hey. It says, Wonderland takes inspiration from our North Carolina backyard, but the spark was a friendly visit from the United Kingdom, and nectarines were the only fruit in the running. That's interesting. A brand new seasonal packed with orchard fresh flavour, a Kolsch style nectarine ale whose inspiration comes from overseas. The idea for Wonderland began in 2018 when our friends from the United Kingdom paid us a visit. We've long hosted beer camp where we invite folks from the beer industry to spend a few days at our brewery, tour every inch of the place and ultimately collaborate on a small batch beer. Sometimes those creations strike gold and we have to share the wealth far and wide. This time our brewers and the UK campers brainstormed 2 recipes that honoured our East Coast location, an IPA using nectarines and a German style Kolsch using Scuppernong grapes, both fruits locally grown in North Carolina, and the later being the state fruit named after the Scuppernong River near the coast. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, so this was a bit of a collaboration thing with brewers from the UK and further afield. Really interesting. We do a few fruit infused ales like this. I'm trying to think of a good example to maybe match it to, but there's a beer that I can reminisce having had, but I can't tell you what it is or who it's by, that it has kind of a similarity to this, but it's more kind of old school ale, whereas this is a bit more fresh and verging on kind of modern pale territory. But either way, this is absolutely delicious. Now, has it changed at all? No. This is one of those that stayed absolutely rock steady. The aromas are exactly as they were when we poured it out, and taste. Nectarine profile maybe changed a bit. I think again, just the acclimatization to the slight bitterness has meant that the sweeter notes are starting to pop out a little bit, and then that biscuity finish is wonderful. It really is. That, as I suspected, is an absolutely cracking beer. I don't have anything else to say about it, but I strongly recommend you go and order some of these, because I'm going to. These are properly good. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it if you haven't already subscribed, if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.